all season. You've had so many big splash plays offensively, and Aliquippa took that away almost entirely in this one, especially in the first half. What was different?
Oh, they just stymied us at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you know, they got those three big boys and everything runs through them. And that allows their linebackers to flow. You know, the irony is you just need one block, really, because they're gonna give you some voids behind it. If you get past that first line, and really it's the first line because those backers are so integral on the line of scrimmage. It's one line you get past. You know, you can usually hit a big play, and we unfortunately didn't have that, especially in the run game, for whatever reason. You know. But in the second half, when we were behind, you know, battling back, you know, we were able to get some of that pass game rolling, and that's where we hit some of the big splash plays, but unfortunately it wasn't enough.
Devin, what did you see from their defense that contained you guys, particularly on the perimeter? You guys couldn't get to the outside and do anything that way.
Well, yeah, them three-up linemen are just real physical and strong, and hats off to them. You know, they played their butts off all game. You know, we try to do what we can, but you know, we get control, and I think our guys did a great job tonight, no matter if we win or loss.
Pressure off the edge, pressure up the middle. I mean, that was kind of the key all night. You know, safeties who were active in the run game as well. You know, they did a good job of bringing a lot of people. You know, it was tough because they had long possession drives, and that was their game plan. I mean, that wasn't really hard to kind of pack. I mean, they wanted to eat up the ball and keep our offense off the field, and they did a tremendous job at it. And then when we got the ball offensively, you know, we weren't very effective with it. And a lot of that is penalties. I mean, every time that we would maybe get a positive yard or two, you know, we'd set ourselves back behind the sticks. And, you know, I guess when you're in that situation, you always go back to just kind of characteristic a little bit. You know, I think that's the disappointing thing is we didn't help ourselves out. You know, hats off to Aliquippa, there's no doubt about it, but we didn't really help ourselves out when it came to that. And a lot of the positive was negated by negative penalties and negative plays. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, these 5 kids up here and that team in that locker room, they're great kids and they're winners. And you know, as much as this is a setback, you know, this is my loss. It's not their loss. This is all on me. They had a tremendous season, and you know, nothing should be taken away from that season. We just didn't get that. We didn't get that one that we really wanted to. We didn't get that one that we've prepped and we've planned for almost 2 years. And that's life sometimes. You know, I guess it's a good learning experience that you don't get everything you want in life. And you know, it's an adverse situation that hopefully these kids grow from, and hopefully, you know, in the future, when things might not be great, whether that's being a father, a husband, you know, at your place of employment, you know, they're battle tested because they're going to be through adverse situations where outcomes aren't necessarily what they expected. So these guys really, truly, although it's going to be real hard to say that right now, they truly don't have anything to be ashamed of. You know, this is mine and the coach's loss. We own that. These guys are winners and they'll stay winners.
Matt, you shut down a lot of really good rushing attacks throughout the season. Penn Trafford, Thomas Jefferson, McKeesport, maybe your best defensive effort last week.
Sure.
What did Aliquippa do today?
They just got movement. I mean, they got movement and they were able to hit lanes. I mean, you know, defensively, we couldn't squeeze and bottle them up like we did in TJ. And with that being said, you know, they got some big guys that they moved the ball out of. A lot of counter. You know, they're getting tackles out and moving in space with guards. And ironically, you know, we felt that was kind of our niche. We felt that if we could duplicate the game plan that we had versus their pro eye sets, we would be good. We really expected them to throw the ball a lot more, and they didn't really need to go to that. So they were just dominant up front, you know, and whenever we were aggressive and wherever we sent some blitzes out of, you know, we had some success. But ironically enough, you know, it was just not great tackling. And, you know, we were penetrating.
That's all I got.
How tough was it to play today as the game went on?
It was pretty bad. I hurt my other leg. It was pretty tough.
Coach, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? You're playing a little beat up, and I'm not. I refuse to be the guy that, you know, uses injuries as an excuse. That won't happen because we've rallied. You know, we've had 2 devastating injuries throughout the season, and we rallied. We overcame that. We went down for 3 games. We rallied. It's been an X-Men approach up, you know, but, you know, ironically, you know, that caught up to to us today because we just didn't have the size to match that size. And again, it's nothing against our kids. They did a great job. I mean, they've overachieved in many aspects, especially our line play. But hats off to Aliquippa because last year they came out throwing the ball against us because I felt they thought that was their niche. They saw something and they attacked us. I think they saw that we were very undersized from a D-line standpoint, and they came out, they teed off on that, and they had success with it. And again, it's almost the worst nightmare in terms of time of possession. You know, they're just grinding the clock, and then we don't help ourselves out by going three and out with the offensive possessions as well. And like I said, that's on me. That ain't on these guys. I'll own that. That's on me.
For any of the or all of the seniors, obviously this outcome's not what you wanted, but what are you going to think back to and remember about this season?
Hardworking.
Brotherhood we had. No one was an individual on our team. It was just a cohesive group. That was kind of my motto all year.
Definitely the same as what those guys said, along with knocking down that door, taking Thomas Jefferson down twice.
I would say, like Riley said, we didn't have any individuals. Coach said something, everybody did it. It was just one heartbeat, one mentality that we had.
I think that's the catalyst of this team this year. The catalyst is that, you know, they were a very cohesive, team-oriented group, very selfish play. And, I don't think you can get to this point playing the stadium if you don't have that, I mean, truly. And they've embraced injuries and adversity and overcame that. And, you know, they're just a good, tough group of football players. We win together, we lose together. And that's just the way it comes down to. And it's hard, you know, as much as you want to tell your kids that you have all this stuff to look at. We know that, you know, it's great. Maybe someday that'll be nice to look on, but it hurts. To be honest with you, it's devastating. I mean, we've been on this quest for 2 years, and I don't think people realize, you know, the time, energy, and effort you put into it. And having these kids, you know, you're prepping 25, 30-hour work weeks, you know, getting ready for opponents, and you know, when you come up short, and this is your second trip here, you know, it doesn't get any easier, that's for sure. It stings, but again, there'll be some silver lining. You won't be able to find that tonight. You probably won't be able to find that for another week. There'll be some silver lining with this, though, and you know, you use it as adversity in your life, and hopefully the kids can build upon this experience. But at the end of the day, it's devastating. We thought this was our year, and we fell short of it. But that's life.
Matt, you always talk about, you know, the bricklayers, your
Sure.
veterans, you know, laying the foundation. How did these guys and your whole senior class kind of continue that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, they continue brick by brick, and I think, you know, this group's kind of just, they left it unfinished a little bit because I thought this was the group cohesively. There's a lot of good pieces that we had, you know, in this group, and you know, it's just one of those things where they kind of took that torch and they never really skipped a beat with it. I mean, I think that's the key. There was never really a dip, and you know, we're just staying with Aliquippa apparently. Second year in a row, they've been able to do that. But they followed the mantra of what it takes to get here. You know, unfortunately, we weren't able just to finally get over that hump.